Today we are going to review Liz Tomford's newest addition to her Windy City series, Play Along. This one follows Kennedy, an athletic trainer, and Isaiah, a baseball player. Like all my other reviews, we're going to keep the first part of this spoiler free, and then we're going to move into the spoilers. We'll be talking about characters, plots, notable quotes, the book cover, and final thoughts. So grab some snacks, get all comfy. We have a lot to talk about. This can be read as a standalone, but the previous 3 books have characters that do make quite a bit of cameos, so it kind of helps a little bit to read those as well. But how we kind of ended the 3rd book, I forgot the name of it for the life of me, maybe I think Caught Up is the name of it. We end with Isaiah and Kennedy getting married in Vegas, and you kind of don't know what is happening and what caused that to get here. So we're gonna keep it spoiler free. Kennedy is an athletic trainer. She's been working under this super sexist lead doctor. She has much bigger dreams, obviously, as she should. And she's very type A, and actually recently came out of a long-term engagement. Isaiah is kind of known as the party boy. He's had a crush on Kennedy for years though, hasn't taken it seriously until recently when he found out she was no longer engaged. Essentially though, they reached an agreement where they decide to stay married for one entire baseball season, which like baseball seasons are really long. I feel like baseball is always going on, it never actually ends, so I don't really know the timeline of that. But the reason for this is kind of crazy. Why do they stay together? Not just like it's setting up the fake relationship, but the underlying reason why. This book does an excellent job of exploring intimacy, childhood neglect, and how that can affect us long term. Obviously, there's a lot more to these 2 characters that we learn a lot more about, but it's just such a cute book, and I cried multiple times. I will know, like I've never cried reading any of Liz Tomford's books before, but this book just does such a great job of exploring those like deeper intimacy moments that show when someone really like knows you and cares about you, which was so cute. One of the main conflicts is something I'm very passionate about as someone who used to want to go into sports. So I'm really glad it gets talked about here. But it was just such a cute and fun book, and I loved it. And this might be tied for my top favorite Windy City book, tied with Ryan and Indy. Let's get into the spoilers. If you want to save this for another time, make sure you hit that save later button and come back once you've read it. Or if you want to be spoiled, let's chat about it. Let's start with the characters. So Kennedy is an athletic trainer, but she's also like a doctor. That's crazy to me. We're gonna talk about this more in the plot, but like she's a doctor who literally got demoted to athletic trainer because she's a woman. And the adversity she faces, she's so strong, but she dealt with her family. And also like her character and plot felt very similar to Sloane from King of Sloth, but I feel like hers was done better in my opinion. But what she deals with to like trying to appease her family but still make a name for herself is just she's so strong and stand by herself, and we love her. Isaiah, I was a little nervous about because he's kind of like the playboy party boy, but he's such a sweetheart, and we find out more about him with like how close he is with his brother and what happened to them when like their mom died and how much closer that brought their family together. And he's just such like so sweet and kind and considerate, and I was like, oh my gosh, has a new book boyfriend entered the chat and his name is Isaiah Rhodes? Maybe. The other notable character, because most of them were reoccurring characters from the other books, so like I don't really care to talk about them that much, was Reese, the new owner of the baseball team, the granddaughter of like the previous owner. Love her. Love that she is challenging all the misogynistic tendencies that come in the sports world. Love her for standing up for Kennedy, and also love her for standing up and firing Dr. Frederick. I think that was his name. I guess he's another character I'll talk about. He just sucks. The fact he demoted someone because they're a woman is insane and like the blatant discrimination that Kennedy faced because of him. I wish him nothing but the worst. Let's talk about the plot. I love this plot. At first I was like, how did they get married? I'm like, how did we get here? Is this some annoying fake relationship setup? But it kind of, in a drunken Vegas way, made sense, where Kennedy was like, I want to be the first to get married because her stepsister stole her fiance. That's a whole nother crazy thing. And then she's like, I want to be the first one to get married. And they're jokingly, drunkenly like, yeah, let's do it. And then she was going to get fired unless it was a serious relationship because she was canoodling with the players. Poor Miss Girl was going through it. And thank goodness for Isaiah, who's like, let's fake it. Obviously, he had ulterior motives because he's had feelings for her for so long. But he was, I feel like, quite respectful of her. Would always sleep on the ground when they'd be traveling together and they were forced to share a room. He learned her boundaries and her issues with intimacy, kind of asking for like consent to touch her and like what she wanted. I didn't really care for the plot line of she was like, oh, I'm gonna move to San Francisco when I get this really awesome lead doctor position and you're gonna be practice for all the other guys I'm gonna date. I understand what's happening there, but also that's like soul crushing. That's so rough for Isaiah. I felt for him when he was so frustrated over and over again and he's like, I genuinely like you and you're kind of just using me, even though like she did have feelings for him, but like she didn't think that his were like genuine, so she was like just trying to brush it off to make it okay. Yeah, feel for her. I was a little nervous leading up. I feel like the main plot was her position with San Francisco and them learning each other throughout the relationship. Those are the two main plots going on for me. Let's talk about the San Francisco one first. Obviously, how did she not get the job? I don't know her at all. I don't really know Kennedy that well, but I feel like she'd be a great candidate there and maybe someone was just better. But I was so excited for the very strongly female, like women populated staff there, the super nice complex. It was gonna be escape from everything, but everyone's in Chicago, Isaiah, his family, and it honestly, it like laid out so perfectly where she got the lead doctor position for the baseball team that Isaiah works for. Worked out so well. We love Reese for helping out all throughout the way and Monty backing her up. All these great people, love that for them. And let's talk about the relationship. I feel like the relationship progressed at a really good pace where they were kind of like learning that each other weren't really like who they thought they were. Their first initial meeting in the bathroom, the women's bathroom, was so funny to me, and how that's Isaiah's like safe space because of the like rough anniversary of his mom's death. But then he met Kennedy there. His cute nickname for her is Kenny. It's so adorable. But I like really enjoyed how the relationship progressed, how they opened up to each other. The discussions about intimacy just felt so deep and intimate to me. Can I use the word intimate to describe intimacy? That feels like an English crime. It was just such a nice, I feel like, progression of events. Like we didn't rush into anything. It felt very real. The discussions were very heartfelt, and I feel like this is really good, especially for people who are neglected as their kids. I was not, but for people who might have experienced neglect or even in like other relationships, this is a really great discussion around that. I also couldn't stand the ex-fiance, that it was literally like an arranged marriage for business purposes, and then he's like all over her stepsister. Oh, and then Dean. I guess we didn't, Dean sucks. I know like him and Kennedy are friends, and I'm glad he eventually apologized to Isaiah, but like he was like saw Isaiah as a rival and was jealous of him and decided to like make him his nemesis. Relax, dude. Like you were like a teenager or something. Don't you have like bigger issues than that? Like I don't know what issues teenage boys have. But anyway, plot was great. Let's talk about notable quotes. First one. Okay, just this specific quote, I already mentioned it, but this is Kennedy's perspective. She's like recalling all these things like, wow, you would not believe where I'm at now. And just to quote, and if you would have told me that the man she's marrying, her stepsister, she's at her stepsister's bachelorette party in Vegas, and if you would have told me that the man she's marrying is my ex-fiance, I would have looked into having you committed. That's crazy behavior. Could not be me. Okay, the next quote, when they're drunk in Vegas and Isaiah carries her Louis Vuitton shoes. Where is it? So Kennedy throws her heels in a trash can on the strip. I noted the red bottoms on those while I was carrying them, so I made sure to pull them right back out the bin. Sober her would be pissed she threw away such expensive shoes. A financially conscious man and also pays attention to detail. Love that for him. Our next quote. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Kennedy and her ex-fiance were get together for, it's either 4 years or 5 years, I think. But then they're at this like family dinner and Mallory, that stepsister, goes, okay, first it starts with Connor. For context, him and Kennedy ended their engagement 8 months ago and he got together with Mallory. Best 8 months of my life, referring to him and Mallory's new engagement. More like best 3 years of your life, she corrects. I freeze my movements. Kennedy goes still. Blah, 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 blah. Mallory goes, cat's out of the bag, I guess. So that's like definitely implying that he was cheating on her for at least 2 years. And this family still likes him, even though it's like a whole business arrangement. Okay. Okay, next one. Oh, I'm just gonna include this for a little women in sports moment for Reese showing off Dr. Frederick. Love this for her. Next one, next quote. Okay, this is when I'm like, my little heart is pitter-pattering. Kennedy's trying to figure out what to do. No, Isaiah just gave her divorce papers. Because he's like, I don't want you holding on to this. I'm the one holding you back from San Francisco. And he goes, you've never gotten a say in your own life, i.e. arranged marriage and the drunken Vegas wedding. And the last thing I'm going to say in your own life and the last thing I'm going to do is take that away from you. Wait, what did I say? Let's start over. You've never gotten a say in your own life and the last thing I'm going to do is take that away from you. Every option is yours, Kenny. Whatever you want to do, I will be your biggest supporter. But I couldn't live with myself if I didn't allow you the space to fulfill your goals, to live up to everything you've worked so hard for. I'm crying. I'm unwell. Okay, this part just cracked me up because Isaiah is very much like playing the martyr. When he's like,
go on without me, I'll be fine, Kenny. Be happy for me.
And she literally was like, Isaiah's a lot of things, but if he could stop trying to be a martyr, that'd be great. LOL. That just made me chuckle. Oh my gosh, this next part is when Reese looked into, I talked about this, but like when Reese looked into Kennedy's qualifications and she realized she's a doctor and she heard all the complaints about Dr. Frederick and then she fired him and then she hired Kennedy. Girl power moment, women supporting women. I love this. And then their little, I'm just including this, their little like joke where Isaiah accidentally almost said I love you. And he said I live, love, laugh you. Because it's like one of those like embarrassing, cringy, like poster signs that the guys used to decorate his place. But then she like, then he goes like, will you move in with me to Kennedy? And she goes, yes, I'd live, laugh, love too. Is that the right order of them? I guess so. But it was just so cute and I was crying and smiling and kicking my little feet and having the best time of my life. Let's talk about the book cover. The book cover is so cute. Love a good Chicago skyline moment. Love the purple, the little lightning. 10 out of 10. Overall thoughts. I gave this book 5 stars. This book exceeded all my expectations. Literally, like, I only liked one of the 3 books Liz Tomford has put out so far, so consider me impressed. I think there's gonna be the one last one with Rio, but I'm so excited. Isaiah and Kennedy are so cute and I wish them nothing for the best. And I want to own this book purely because it has a Chicago skyline on it, but also it's so cute and I loved it. Thanks for listening today, guys. Let me know if you also liked it, if you didn't like it, whatever your little heart desires. Hang out. Like this video if you're able to. Subscribe for the book content. We're here to stay. And I will catch you guys next week. Until then, live, laugh, and love.